Hi, I'm Julia Laughlin from the Oklahoma County Extension Office. And as we get into these later summer days that are so hot, it's time to think about if you're giving your plants outside enough water, and also some other things to think about include watering for wildlife and making sure the birds and all the pollinators have enough water as well. So if you're watering plants outside, maybe you still have your outdoor plants outside. Usually you don't bring those in until we get closer to having a freeze later in the fall. Or container gardens. Maybe you have container gardens of vegetables, container gardens of flowers. And this time of the year, especially in the absence of rain, you really need to water the containers really good. So you're going to water once or twice. When you water, let all the water drain out the bottom, and then go back and water again. You might even water a third time to get those containers really saturated. With some containers, you're going to have to do that maybe every other day, just to make sure that you get stuff really, really saturated. On young trees and shrubs, especially ones that you planted this year, ones that are only planted this year or in the last couple of years, you need to water those really deeply too. One idea is to put your hose at the base of that tree or shrub, turn the water on very low, and let it just soak the ground really, really good. You can leave it on there for 45 minutes, an hour. If it's turned down really low, you could leave it for a couple of hours and just let it really drench the ground. So we're going to try to slowly water those newly planted trees and shrubs, and then double water or triple water your containers. So the other thing to worry about is wildlife. Right now, all the little ponds that were accumulated from the early summer rains and midsummer rains have dried out. All those little puddles that we were seeing and where water was accumulated, everything's really starting to dry out. So if you do have a bird bath, if you have some kind of a water feature in your landscape, be sure that when you're outside, you're filling that up for the birds and also for the pollinators like the bees and all the beneficial insects like ladybugs and all the good bugs. Now, if you don't have your own fancy water feature or bird bath, here's an easy way to make one, and this is fun to do with your kids as well. Just turn upside down a big clay pot of any kind. This one's kind of pretty, but it doesn't even have to be that pretty. You could use a plastic pot. The only thing about that is that the heavier it is, the better it's going to be stable. But turn that pot upside down somewhere in your garden or your landscape, and then this happens to be plastic, but you could take some kind of a bowl. You could use tin or metal, some other kind of bowl, and if you'll fill it with some gravel or rock like this, and then add some water, you've actually just made the perfect butterfly watering source, because the butterflies love to land on these little rocks and get in there and get some water. But a bird will also use it as a bird bath. Bees will use it. Other beneficial insects can use it as well. If you don't have any gravel laying around and you don't want to buy any, you could just simply use a big garden rock. This one has a face painted on it, which is cute, but a good rock will hold that down, and you have an instant bird bath for the wildlife.